YouTube found community, Monkees fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about one of the most recent Monkees albums to come out, Good Times, released in 2016. This has been an album I've been wanting to hear in full for a while. I've been looking for it on vinyl for a while, and it just took me a long time to find one that was cheap enough. This thing is always super expensive whenever I find it. And when I say super expensive, I mean over 20 bucks, and it's a lot of money for me. So, when this came out, I remember hearing a couple of the singles and really enjoying them, but hearing the whole album, from start to finish, was way more fun, and way more rewarding, and easily it's one of the best Monkees albums they've ever made. It's such a good album. It doesn't sound campy, nostalgic. It doesn't sound like it's trying to beat the past. It sounds like, they're coming from that generation, but they're not trying to make it sound like them. It sounds like the Monkees, and that's what I really like about it. And having Davey on here, I think, is fantastic as well. So it really sounds like an actual Monkees LP. But the cool thing about this record as well is that they also use some songs that were either started in the 60s and never finished, or maybe they were put out and kind of forgotten about, or they've redone some things. So it's a little bit of old and a lot of new. And it just sounds like a mature album. It sounds like an album meant to be taken seriously in the Monkees catalog as like, yeah, you're buying an actual real Monkees album. You're not buying something that sounds like a rehash or three or four guys just kind of trying to make it sound like the past. It sounds nothing like that. It really sounds like them now, but with their flavor of then, just because that's who they are sound-wise. So nothing about it sounds cheesy, which is good. But it opens with the song Good Times, the title track here, and Mickey just sounds incredible on here, and he's singing with his buddy Harry Nilsson, which I think is great. It's a duet, and they were really good friends back in the day, and Harry co-wrote this song. Harry's vocals apparently date back to January of '68, which is pretty cool. And it's just really cool to hear them together, like, because you've read all those stories about them hanging out, going, especially during the Lost Weekend with John Lennon, like, they were buddies, and so it's nice to hear them sing together. But what an interesting track! It's upbeat, it's fun, it's catchy. It sounds like the Monkees, man, and then Mickey's vocals sound like no time has passed at all. Great introduction to this album. You Bring the Summer is really a bright, modern touch of nostalgia without sounding like it's just forcing nostalgia down your throat. Wonderful harmonies on this thing. Incredible. It's a Monkees classic, especially with that xylophone solo. I love that. The organs, the peppy drums, it sounds like 1967, but again, not in a bad way. And I know I repeat myself when I say that, but so many bands have been known to do that, or they're going to try to sound like the 60s, but when it's just something that you just know how to do and it's just your style, it doesn't sound dated. It's a total earworm. The outro on this thing is pretty psychedelic too, which I thought was fun. She Makes Me Laugh. This is one of my favorites on the album. It's written by Rivers from Weezer, and a lot of the songs on here are written by outside artists, of course, from like current bands. You got Ben Gibbard, Rivers Cuomo, what's his name from Adam Schlesinger from Fountains of Wayne is all over this thing, which is really cool. But this one really caught me off guard, because Rivers wrote it. I'm a big Weezer fan, so it sounds like he wrote for the Monkees. You would have never expected him to write something like this. But it's got this big, expressive, total classic, sing-along chorus. The warm chord changes and the background vocals just harken, younger times in your life just because you grew up with that music maybe when you were a kid. It's an instant sing-along and easily one of the best songs on the album. I absolutely love this track. Our Own World. Again, Adam Schlesinger's on this one. And what can I say about this one? It's bubbly, it's poppy, and bouncy would be like the three terms I'd choose for this one. It's just a fun song, man. It's just a good upbeat track. The bass is melodic. The chorus vocals are so tight. The reverb-laden guitar solo is fantastic. There's just a lot of dynamics on this track, which makes it a lot of fun to listen to. So, 4 for 4, we're knocking them out of the park here. Gotta give it time. This is another one that dates back to the old days, with some parts of it recorded back in 1967. And it does sound of its time. It does sound like something from the 60s with that rubbery lead guitar and Mickey screaming away, which is fantastic. And then it ends with Me and Magdalena, which is one of the best songs of the album as well, written by Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie. Um, and Mike is super prominent vocally on here, which his vocals, I've always loved Mike's voice. So it's nice to hear him take this track, which is a really tender, beautiful track. Um, it's poetic and it's really thoughtful, and I wish it was longer because it's such a great song. But the piano heavy, instrumentation, the really nice shuffle on the drums, a little bit of bass here and there. It's a really introspective, deep song, and the vocal blend on this is just fantastic. It's an absolute standout track from this album. So just on side one alone, check out She Makes Me Laugh and Me and Magdalena. Those are two of the best songs, hands down. Side two starts off with Whatever's Right, and this is a Boyce and Hart song, just like the old days. This is great. It's a true Monkees album. Bobby even sings on it. Bobby Hart sings on it, which is pretty cool. Again, poppy and peppy. Sounds like the Monkees, man. Charges along. Sounds like a modern 1966 track. Which it's also really short, which I kind of like. It's nice when you get like a condensed amount of excitement into like a 2-minute and 50 song track. Instead of just dragging something out just for the heck of it, just condense it, make it more fun, just like an old 60s pop single. Awesome. Love to Love, here's Neil Diamond. This is great. Davey sings this one. Dates back to 1967, 1969, and also 2016. So this one kind of has a long life, but I've always loved this song as a Neil Diamond song. Great track, and Davey's voice on it's perfect. It fits him to a T. Pure, honest power pop. It's great to hear Davey on here too, now that you're 7 or 8 songs in, right in the middle of the album, they throw Davey in there, which is great. Little Girl, Peter wrote this for Davey to sing, and he loved it, but sadly he never got to sing it. So instead we get a great vocal from Peter, which is awesome, and now he's gone too. But I love the slight country shuffle here. Excellent track. I could totally see Davey doing this one. Birth of an Accidental Hipster, written by Noel Gallagher and Paul Weller. Bet you weren't seeing that one. What a combination. A perfect track for Mike to sing. Lots of changes, good piano moments, fuzzy solos, catchy pop rock. It's a total standout. I just love the title, just Birth of an Accidental Hipster. What a great title for it. I wonder if they wrote the song around the title, because the title's perfect. Wasn't Born to Follow. Peter takes another vocal on here on this Goffin and King song, just like the old days. Parts of this date back to 1968, and lyrically it kind of matches that too. It's got some of that 60s feel to it, but I'm really digging Peter's voice on this one. It's reflective and full of wisdom. It just sounds like he's lived the life enough to sing lyrics like this. Then you get I Know What I Know, a Pop and Nez original here, just with Adam and Mike on this one. It's a beautiful ballad. It's dramatic, it's bittersweet. And it's nice to have another reflective track on here. So the balance of the sequencing is a lot of fun. And then the last track on here, I Was There, which is a great song. It's basically just Mickey and Adam Schlesinger doing this. And you end on a crazy rocker. I mean, what a great line. Like, I was there, and I'm told I had a good time. Like, it's hilarious. It's harkening back in the days of being crazy when you're young. Just overdoing it from back in the day. It's just an awesome pounder and screamer of an ending track. This happens to be the Barnes & Noble edition, so it comes with a bonus 45 with one of the songs, Love's What I Want. Really lightweight and poppy again, but I can kind of see why it was left off as not a contender for the album. It's a good song, but I feel like it would have been one of the weaker moments on the overall track list. It doesn't really have that sort of punch that the rest of the songs kind of do. And then A Better World, this is a really interesting track. It's got some good layering touches that keep the song building and building over and over again. And the lyrical content, I think, is great on it too. But let me show you what the back cover looks like. Let me hold up to the light a little bit there. And there's a lot going on the inside of this thing. This is the Barnes & Noble edition. So they kind of stuffed this thing full of stuff. My favorite bit are the stickers. So you get actual Monkees stickers of the suit, costumes, the UFO, the Monkey Mobile, the guitar, and then the other inner sleeve here, which is fantastic because it gives you all the lyrics and all the details about who wrote it, and some commentary along the way. So it kind of gets you involved with the song itself and the creation of it, which I think is really cool. Here is the 45, which just came out on Rhino Records, and they recreated the old Cold Gems label for this, which I thought was great. What side is that one? It's A Better World on that one, and then Love's What I Want on that side. Then we got the actual record, which is on a really nice inner sleeve there. But I love the logos for the label here. Very cool. Overall, I absolutely love this album. It is a lot of fun to listen to. You know, it sounds like the Monkees now, and then, which then and now, they did that already, but yeah, it's a lot of fun to listen to. It shows a lot of artistic growth. It shows the kind of talent that's still there, and that none of it's faded. Like, it's still a group of guys that are still hungry to show off that they are in fact a band, and that they're super, super talented. You know, it's every song on this album is worth listening to. There's nothing on it I feel that you should skip. It's a really well-constructed album by a group of guys that got together to keep the Monkees name alive here, and really show that their story's not over, one, and number two, that it's not just a nostalgia act. So many bands come back and write these really cheesy, corny, lame albums. This is an absolute contender for one of the best albums they ever made. Is it the same as it was in the 60s? No, of course not. But thematically, lyrically, construction-wise, emotion, you know, the way that they just delved into this thing speaks volumes. And it's one of the best albums they've ever made. So for me, this is easily an 8 or 9 out of 10 for a Monkees album. One of my favorites. I love this thing, hands down. And that's it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been the Monkees. Good times. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.